Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Meta Market Weekly. I'm Justin, co-host, and I'm here along with Fernando. And man, Fernando, what another week. I feel like it's nuts around here. It really is. Like I look around and I don't know, the major, kind of swan moment has come, I think. What do you think?
Hey Justin, thank you for having me here. I agree. Well, it's complicated because lately I feel like the market is going very crazy. And I have a theory of my own. I think now that the market is being controlled by an AI technology. And the AI technology is doing the opposite of what you expect. And I say this because back in the day, for example, 2017, the market was volatile, but it behaved according to several patterns. Right now, last week I was super sad and upset because the market was going down, and then this week it went up. So I feel like the market is very irrational these days. Could be my theory. I don't know. We also have to acknowledge that AI technology in 2023 is pretty much being embraced now. I don't know if you're aware that this week we just got the upgrade from Chat GPT 3 to Chat GPT 4, and apparently it's like 10 times smarter, faster, and it can help you predict the market. It can help you find business opportunities. It can help you compose music. So it's crazy. It's super crazy. I don't know how they're using this technology. I mean, but probably um, you can interact with it for almost anything. You can even create AI generated images where this AI technology can even create fake real people. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
even saying like 3D models of people. I mean, I've seen pictures of fake real people. You look at
Yep.
the image and it looks just like a regular guy, but it's not real. It was created by an AI generator.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I mean,
I've seen that as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, it's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
I don't know what's happening right now, but it is very crazy, and definitely it also has to do with what's going on with the market. That banks are collapsing, and exchanges collapsing. Rules are being created, and it's just crazy. And we can see it reflected not just in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but we can see it reflected in the price of gold, the S&P 500, everywhere. So it's crazy times, definitely.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, this comes back to the conversation that we have all the time. It's like, the technology that we've implemented with our biometrics and this kind of conversation about, well, is that bad or not? And at the end of the day, it's all about who's controlling that technology. It's not the technology itself that is bad. It's who's controlling it and who's creating it. And unfortunately, the two major AI projects that are going on right now, which is OpenAI and ChatGPT, are both backed by a lot of big tech money and a lot of money that comes from entities and people who do not have humanity's best interest at heart. So
Absolutely.
it's really cool technology, trust me. And if it was in the right hands, it could be an absolute game changer. But in my opinion, it's not. So
You
it's
know what?
yeah, it's book.
Uh, a lot of people don't know about this, but Elon Musk was actually one of the founders of this technology. But his partner, I think his name is Sam Altman, he wanted to make the company profitable. And Elon Musk said, no, this company is for the benefit of humanity and so on. So something happened, and Elon Musk said, you know what, just take the project. I don't know if he paid Elon Musk, or I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe on our next podcast, I'll do some research and I'll tell you what happened. And this guy, Sam Altman, he started making ChatGPT profitable, and then he eventually sold, I don't know if all of the shares or most of the shares, to Bill Gates. And we all know what kind of person Bill Gates is. It's
Yeah, we know him so well, and we know how much of a criminal he is. That
yeah,
a Filipino court actually issued a
yeah,
arrest warrant for Bill Gates last week for crimes against
yeah,
humanity. So we know how
absolutely.
great of a guy he is.
Absolutely. I mean, if you ask me, I think he's the devil, and
Yep.
it's just he just bought that technology. So does that make me happy and makes me think happy thoughts? Absolutely not. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're gonna see what happens. There's gonna be forks of this technology. There's gonna be other versions of this technology, and I know other people are gonna use this technology for good, and I absolutely know Bill Gates is not going to use it for good. Uh,
No.
if you ask me, he's probably already working with the government to use this technology for surveillance and control, and maybe they're using this technology to build their own CBD. I absolutely have no idea, but it wouldn't it wouldn't be surprising to find out a couple of months from now, and see that this is all true, because Bill Gates is definitely not a good person.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. But I
Yeah,
agree. I think that there's definitely an opportunity for uh, positive use of this technology for sure. All right, let's dive into a market analysis real quick, and then we'll get into so much to talk about today. So, what are you
yeah.
seeing in the market?
All right, so let me go ahead and pull out my trading view. Great. So last week when we were talking, we had this parallel channel here, and I think it was here on Thursday we were talking, and the market was looking very bad. I was expecting the market to keep dropping, and it did. And especially, we can see this large candle. We had this large candle when we had there was like a scandal involving one of the biggest stable coins in the planet, which is USDC,
Mm-hmm.
which is the stable coin backed by Coinbase, which is partnered with Circle, which is partnered with the SEC. So pretty much what happened when the Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, apparently they had a lot of funds of the USDC coin there, and this caused the USDC coin to depeg from the US dollar. And I think it fell down all the way. Let me tell you exactly how how low it went. I can actually look it up here. Let's see. Okay, no, this is the market cap. Let me try again. USDC. There we go. So it dropped bad. We can see this massive candle that went all the way to 82 cents. And if you were smart enough to buy when it was at 82 cents, you made a 18% profit in a day. I was going to do it, but apparently they don't offer USDC coin anymore on Binance, so I was not able to do it.
Hmm.
But the thing is that the price of the stable coin went down because apparently they held about $4 billion on the Silicon Valley Bank, and when the news came out, most investors started freaking out and selling the USDC coin, and that caused the pegging of the coin.
Yep.
And people were thinking that the coin was going to crash, and it was no longer going to be pegged by the US dollar. Everyone panicked. A lot of people lost money. I saw an article about a guy that he was using a decentralized exchange to trade his USDC coin for USDT, and he
Mhm.
used the wrong slippage and the wrong everything, and he traded $2 million for like $10,000 in USDT. So major loss.
Oh,
He
jeez.
got,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
yeah. I
Wow.
crazy. Unfortunately, I didn't bring this information to today's podcast, but he got absolutely wrecked. He lost all his money. Well, almost all of it, just because he got anxious. He panic sold, and he didn't even take the time to adjust the parameters to make sure that everything was in place. So that happens, you know,
Oh
when
my goodness. Wow. That's man. I bet that guy is just feeling so angry right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah. I always tell people, you know, when you're feeling anxious, when you know the market's going crazy, before you take any major decision, calm yourself down, meditate, and you know, take your decision from peace. Because if you're all stressed and you're not thinking clearly, you know, one wrong press of the button can be the difference between you losing everything and you know conserving your wealth. So it is always important when you're a trader, when you're in the market, learn how to control your emotions. I understand that you might get nervous from time to time. I get nervous, but when I get nervous, I try to analyze where that emotion is coming from. I analyze it, I embrace it, I breathe, I calm down, and then I take the decision from a calm place. Maybe
yep.
you're gonna lose, but you're gonna lose a little bit, you know, but it's fine because at the end of the day, you gotta learn how to lose. And every time you lose, it's like Einstein said, I did not fail 1,000 times, you know, finding how to do his famous equation. He 1,000 times figured out how not to do it until eventually he figured out how to do it. It's the same with the market. You know, you're not gonna always get it right. You're gonna fail a lot of times, but you're gonna learn. And as long as you have that learning mentality that you're not losing, you're learning, and every time you're getting closer, eventually, you know what was very stressful and hard to comprehend, you're gonna do it immediately. You know, you're gonna be a successful trader. You're gonna be able to manage risk successfully. You're
Yep.
gonna, you know, it's all about your perspective and your emotions. If
Yep.
you have a lucid mind, and if you're aware of what's going on, why it's going on, how you're feeling, you're gonna become a better trader. And I, from experience, can tell you this because when I first got into crypto, there were days where I would throw up. You know, I would throw up because I was so nervous about what was going on, and I didn't have my mind didn't have the mental patterns to cope with such stress. And now I feel like after years of practice and understanding why things happen, you know, we have these crazy days, and some, you know, I'm human. Sometimes I get anxious, but every day I try to control it more. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I mean, I'm in this for the long term. You know, if the market's going crazy right now, so what? I mean, I'm gonna sell 4 years from now, or maybe I'm not even going to sell because the market's going to collapse and this is going to have value. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it is always helpful, you know, if you're a newbie and you're just starting investing and all that, learn how to manage your emotions, because that's the difference between a successful trade and losing everything because you were impulsive and you couldn't wait until Monday for, you know, Circle or Coinbase to give an announcement on what's going to happen, because they did. They came out and said that, you know, even if they lose the money from the Silicon Valley Bank, that they would sell stocks on their company to recover whatever was lost. And what happened? Almost immediately the next day, the USDC coin went back to the dollar. So that's just my humble advice. Learn how to manage your emotions, and you're gonna see that your trading skills are going to improve a lot. I don't know if you want to comment anything on that.
It's great advice, man. I think it's great advice for life too, right? You know, it's
Yeah, not just for the market, you know, decision making.
yeah,
If you're stressed, if you're anxious, you can feel your body how it's just vibrating and it's not thinking clearly. But if you're calm, you take a deep breath, you feel peaceful, you're making decisions out of awareness. You're making decisions out of consciousness, out of a lucid mind. And when you're lucid, you can see a lot of options, you know. And when you're stressed, you don't see a way out. It's just you and the problem. But when you're calm, you see an option to the left, an option to the right, an option all the way to the front, backwards. So it is always advisable to learn how to manage your emotions, and you're gonna see your life improve a lot. Your
Yeah,
decision making will improve, and you're gonna see the changes. I promise you.
absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, and what else? So yeah, that happened. The USD C coin crashed, and we saw all this, further downward spiral of Bitcoin. And you know what Bitcoin does? It brings the market down with it. So it's not just Bitcoin. If you look at Ethereum, Phantom, Matic, all the cryptocurrencies went down, except Meta One. Meta One is stable as always.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we reached an all-time high. Let me see if I can find this information real quick.
We did.
We did, right? I don't know if it was last week or if it was this week, but yeah, so Meta One operates on a different level. Why? Because we're backed by gold and we're backed by our technology. And we actually reached an all-time high of, let me tell you how much it was. It was today. Today, actually, we reached an all-time high of $483 per coin. I don't know if you
Awesome.
want to comment anything on that.
No, it's cool, man. It's cool to see. It's like taking on a life of its own, and it's just cool. It's cool. It's really cool. That's about all I have to say.
It's really cool. It's
Yeah.
really cool that you don't have to worry about these price swings. It's really cool that we're stable, and it's really cool all that we're doing. We have the vault, the improved exchange, the improved like wallet.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a few bugs now and then, but we're fixing them.
Yeah.
There's
Totally.
almost no bugs anymore. Almost all the issues with we had several issues with the light wallet and the
Yeah.
email verification, but almost everything is fixed now.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what we've accomplished, not just our platform, but we can see it, reflected on the price.
Yeah.
Pe- People like Meta One, and it's only a matter of time before institutions and governments and more people start taking a liking into Meta One, and maybe someday it might even be, a national currency. I don't know. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen in the future? But imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. I see it as an international currency, a
Yeah,
human currency.
international.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so yeah, we see that the market crashed, but then I was expecting a tiny bounce. If you see this circle, I was expecting a bounce all the way here, and then a rejection. And the reason why is because, let me show you. On Tuesday, we had, let me click here again. One moment. Yeah. So on Tuesday, we had the CPI release of inflation. So last month it was 6.4%. This means that the price of goods, it is 6.4 more expensive than it was before. Of course, these numbers, I don't think they're real, because if we all go to the grocery store, we can see that everything is a lot more higher than 6.4%. But whatever number they're using, the CPI for this month went down. And whenever the CPI number goes down, we see it reflected in the market. We see that stocks and cryptocurrency go up.
Hmm.
So the last couple of months, it's been going down. Still, 6% is nothing to celebrate. It's a lot. We're still, inflation's still super high, and we have Biden saying that, oh, he's the best president because he's reducing inflation and all that. It's not true. If you ask me, I think that Biden is going to be the worst president in history of all times. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We still got a couple more quarters to see how it's going to end. But so far, if you ask me, and this is my personal opinion, I think he's just being very bad. and we can see it reflected not only on inflation, but in the interest rates, the economy, everything. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Biden turns it around and makes better decisions, but I don't think it will happen. And I say this because, well, we'll get to there. So we saw this increase. It was actually on Tuesday, and we can see here that this candle went all the way to the top, and then we had a minor retracement, which was expected. I personally was not expecting it to go this high. So maybe the reason why it kept going is because more banks are collapsing. And I am starting to see in the news and in Twitter and everywhere, their people are now starting to be afraid of having their money in banks, and they're looking elsewhere. This means that they're buying Bitcoin, they're buying gold. We can also see here that gold is very close to reaching an all-time high. Very, very, very close. So
Yep.
people are buying Bitcoin, they're buying gold, they're buying stocks, they're buying real estate. And at the end of the day, people are starting to lose faith in banks, which is a good thing, but it is also a bad thing in the close term, because if everyone tries to withdraw their money at the same time, there is a big chance that everything's going to collapse. So
we have bank run. We have the SVB situation, which turned into basically the government doing another bailout of not only Signature Bank but SVB, and also gosh, what was the third one?
I forgot.
There was another one: Signature Bank, SVB, and there was another one.
Credit Suisse.
Oh, wow, Credit Suisse. Yeah, Credit Suisse is still a whole thing, and hasn't really tanked yet. But
it's about to tank.
It's interesting because we were talking, off air the other day about this, and how, yeah, it's great that these big banks and that the government is infusing these banks with cash, because obviously in the short term that help depositors get their money back, especially with SVB. The majority of their customers are small tech startups, and I very much understand, and we very much understand from the perspective of being a small tech startup. It's you need money to pay payroll and to pay vendors and all that stuff, and if you can't access it, it's difficult. But in the long run, this is very, very bad, because this is going to skyrocket inflation. We're already at a point where we have hyperinflation. So if you think about it, it is really horrible monetary policy to be doing this, and it's very stupid. I mean, obviously, I think it's malicious and on purpose, but it's horrible, because we're just kicking the can down the road, and it's not the solution at all.
And let me add to what you're saying, so our viewers get a clear picture of what's happening. So think of every bank like a credit card. So 2 credit cards or 3 already failed. So they're trying to pay the next credit card with another bank and the other bank, and it's just going to cause a domino effect. Right now, 2 or 3 banks already collapsed, and they're trying to pay the bonds and the debt with another bank, and when they do, it's going to collapse. It's going to collapse. It's going to be terrible, because everything is going to collapse at the same time. And what's most ridiculous is not that everything is collapsing. What is more ridiculous, in my opinion, is that whoever decides what's going to happen is some guy that is elected to presidency, and in 4 years he's out if he's not reelected. So how come the decision of a guy who's only 4 years is going to affect the rest of your life? It doesn't make sense. We cannot live under a system where a guy who is selected by popular vote comes into office, makes a terrible decision, and affects your future, the future of your children, and the future of your children's children. Because, I mean, if we look into the stats, inflation has not backed down since we got out of the gold standard. It's been almost, I think, yeah, even over 50 years where we have not seen any deflation at all. So,
And we never will. We
and
never
we
will.
never will. Well, we will if we all band together and we take these crazy politicians, we stomp them to the curb, and we create a new system. But as
Yeah, yeah.
long as we don't create this new system, we won't see this deflation.
Yeah,
Because the
100%.
system,
And yeah, it's not only the guy who gets, quote unquote elected, every 4 years. It's also all of these people who are in these positions of power, who are appointed and who sometimes spend a career in these high level positions of monetary policy,
yes,
that just make the same stupid mistakes over and over and over again. Sometimes, they are intentional, but it's just it's a shit show, and it's not something that is ever going to get any better if we continue to go down this course. And it's what is the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and
yes,
over again and expecting a different result. I think we are at an insane place for sure.
yes, absolutely. But it's not all bad. I know,
No, no, not at all. There's lots of
there's Americans that are good people. There's people in the Senate that are good. The
yeah, yeah.
problem is that they don't control what happens, which brings me to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which is the governor of South Dakota
Oh yeah.
proposed a bill excluding crypto from definition of money. Okay,
This is awesome. Like I
yes,
whatever left, right leaning, whatever, I don't care what your beliefs are, but you have to get behind this because
yes.
what she did is awesome. I mean, it's awesome.
She's an international hero. This person, I forgot her name. We're gonna see it right now. Her
Newsom,
name
I
is
think, or
Christy Noem.
Neom.
She's
Yeah.
not only a national hero, she's an international hero because she's fighting for justice, she's fighting corruption, she's fighting for privacy and freedom. She's an amazing human being, and I am just excited and happy to know that there's still good people out there. And I'm gonna play this video. It's a real quick video explaining pretty much what happened, because this is a very important message that I hope that everyone can listen to and understand what's going on.
So the drama in the banking sector, the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, has a lot of Americans concerned about how to protect their money. And of course, politicians are using that concern to their advantage as always. Several states are now trying to centralize currency with a so-called central bank digital currency, which is, by the way, not currency at all. It's software. But they're going to do it for your own good. Obviously, this is a tool of total social control. If they control your money, if they can zero out your bank account with a keystroke, then you have no autonomy. They control you. Well, in the state of South Dakota, legislators just passed a bill that would have changed the definition of money to exclude cryptocurrency, and that would put the state on a path to centralized digital currency. South Dakota's governor, Christy Noem, the only governor we're aware of who's paying attention to this, vetoed that bill. She joins us tonight to explain why. Governor, thank you very much for doing this first and for coming on. Why did you do it? You're obviously under pressure not to veto it, but you did. Why did you?
Well, Tucker, it was the right thing to do. I became aware of this bill. It wasn't introduced until almost halfway through our legislative session. We started reading through this bill that was over 110 pages long. It was sold as an update to the guidelines of the Universal Commercial Code, backed by all of our financial institutions, our banks. As we started reading through it, we saw the section of the bill that changed the definition of currency. And essentially what it did was pave the way for a government-led CBDC, and it also banned any other form of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or digital currency that existed. So for me, it very clearly was a threat to our freedom. In South Dakota, we are the session that completes its business earliest in the year. We are the first ones to really look at this bill and find out the truth of what's in it. And I did veto that bill. I'm asking my legislators to change their minds, to make the right decision and help me kill this bill once and for all. But I'm telling you, Tucker, we've got the same language coming to over 20 other states. I believe it's to pave a way for the federal government to control our currency and thus control people. It should be alarming to everyone, and it's being sold as a UCC guidelines update. There's no rush to do this. We need to be smart and make sure that we're doing what we can to protect people. I find it ironic that we also are having this discussion at the same time we have banks and credit card companies talking about coding gun and ammunition in a separate code so they can track it. So not only can they tie these two issues together, if the government doesn't approve of what you're purchasing, if they have the only form of digital currency out there and that is endorsed and utilized in the country, they can control how you spend that money and thus take away all your freedom.
It's so nicely put, and I don't think you're overstating at all the significance of this. Really quickly, do you think, and you want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt on their motives, but do you think that legislators in your state understand what this bill was actually designed to do?
You know, I don't know if they read it, Tucker. That's what is alarming to me is it was over 110 pages long, and they were told by lobbyists that they had listened to for the last 20 years that it's fine. It's just a regulation update. This is what we do is adopt federal regulations. But if you start reading it, you see in there is a redefinition of currency that it says government CBDCs are okay if they're run by the government, but any other form is then banned. It is clearly a change for how people's assets are utilized. It clearly limits the freedom of people to use other forms of currency that they may choose to if it is a digital currency. And it is clearly putting power into the hands of government. If anything we should have learned the last several years is the government can't be trusted. Bill Tucker, what I was surprised by was that, the bills that have made it to my desk this year, people think about South Dakota being conservative and being a very Republican state. The first bill I had to veto was a tax increase. Now this has made it to my desk. We've got other challenges as well.
I really hope that what you've done inspires other governors. Appreciate your coming on tonight. Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota, thank you. Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our night.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, amazing. This is the kind of change that we need to see happening. And we talk about how corrupt the system is all the time, but as to your point, there are humans out there in the system that are of and for humanity, that are humanitarians, and that do understand that freedom needs to be protected, and it's eroding very quickly. And I think it's just amazing that she did that. I am just hats off. I just think it's really awesome. And what my question kind of, what I was thinking when I was watching that for the first time is, so this bill is coming to over 20 different states, which means that there's a lobbyist group behind it. And who is funding that lobbyist group? That is a question that is very interesting to me, and I might do a little research on that and come back to us next week. But yeah, hats off to her. That's awesome, South Dakota.
Absolutely. Well, to what you're saying, I mean, there might be no way for us to know who's funding it because it's obviously, the secret societies that got JFK shot. They control the world, they control the banks, and we never hear about it because that's top, it's classified, but it's definitely not good people. Which brings me to the next article that you can see here. A federal judge blasts the SEC for poorly argued attempt to claim cryptocurrencies must be regulated by them. So pretty much what she was saying, cryptocurrencies are bad unless it's our cryptocurrency. So that makes absolutely no sense. It's ridiculous, and it's even more ridiculous that there might be some brainwashed, woke people defending this. I mean, I hope not. I hope everyone's waking up right now and they realize that this is just terrible. The moment they create their CBDC, and if we accept it, we are giving them total power over us. If at any moment they decide that they want to expire your money because you have not used it, they'll expire it and take away all your money from you. If they're saying that you have already consumed too much meat, this month, they'll cancel. They can program the money so you can no longer buy meat. So it is just a terrible, terrible, terrible way of social control that the government is creating in order to control everyone. So please, to all our viewers, if you're listening to this, make awareness of this, share this information to everyone you know, because we're in time. Right now, a battle is being fought between the people and the corrupt government. And if we don't band together and realize that left and right is just an illusion created by the people in control to make us fight against each other while they control us, eventually it's going to be too late. We need to band together and realize this is not a left versus right, male against women, or whatever fight. This is a fight between good and evil. And
Yep.
we're all good. All of us here, we're good. We all want abundance. We want happiness. We want to be loved. We want to love. And we can't do this freely because we're in survival mode. And the reason why we're in survival mode is because of these people. There is no time for us to love. There is no time for us to be happy, to travel and share with the people we love, because we're all in survival mode all the time. And the reason why we're in survival mode is because of these people with their inflation and printing of money and control, corruption, lying, and all this terrible stuff is making us be stressed and in survival mode all the time. And when you're in survival mode, you cannot create, you cannot love, you cannot share, you cannot feel peace. So please, research about the topic, learn that we're not lying, we're telling the truth. This is actually happening right now. This video is from like 2 days ago. This file that I'm sharing with you guys just happened today. All of these things that we're sharing with you today are happening either yesterday or this week. This is not news from a month ago, a year ago, or whatever. This is happening right now. So I hope that everyone understands what's happening, and just share the information. Make sure to share this information to as many people as possible so we can band together and fight what's happening right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know what, it's not, let's talk about solutions. Let's talk about what we can be doing to do this on top of just talking about it and sharing the news. And I think that, first and foremost, there's a lot of different things, supporting, cryptocurrency in general, supporting projects, like Meta, like others who are doing great things and are also perpetuating and moving forward the adoption of cryptocurrency. From my perspective personally, I haven't had money in banks in a while, and I encourage everyone to look at alternatives to that. Cryptocurrency is a great alternative to that. Gold is a great alternative to that. There's a lot of different things out there that you can look at to place your money in where you're not going to be exposed in this way. And I think that also educating others and talking about this is obviously very important, and paying attention to kind of what's going on, and taking the opportunity to also use the technology in more of a regular day thing. I know that many people believe that there's a really big barrier to using, let's say, digital currency or cryptocurrency in everyday life, and it's actually getting easier and easier every day to do so. And the more that we can sort of do this peer-to-peer, decentralized, system, and we continue to start to build that more and more with the technologies and the services that are being offered in the space, including Meta ones and others, we really can make a difference here. So, it's kind of like, putting your money where your mouth is. It's just like with shopping, if, you need to support the products and services and companies that you believe in. If you want to see, this is just an example. If you want to see more manufacturing and more businesses creating goods in the United States, or in, let's say, Mexico, if you're from Mexico, or Sweden, if you're from Sweden, then you need to be buying goods and services from companies that are made in your country, and create goods in your country or services in your country. It's the same thing with crypto. It's the same thing with the way that you use your currency. If you are for the very bloody, very disgusting US dollar that's used for illegal purposes, lots of, illegal activities, horrible human atrocities, for wars, for all this crazy stuff. If you're into that, keep using US dollars. But if you are not into that and you want freedom, you want to support currencies that are backed by amazing technology that rids the world of corruption, that eradicates the even ability for the currency to be used for these horrible atrocities, and provides accountability and also provides you with freedom, you might want to look into trying to work on using cryptocurrency on a regular basis every single day. And that's what we're working towards at Meta, is to make it available and possible for people to be able to use a cryptocurrency in a really easy, simple way, and be able to retain that freedom. Because what has happened is that we have become sheep, and the institutions and the governments of the world have become the wolves. And we need to remember that we are actually the wolves, and that we need to take that power back and realize that they don't have control over us unless we allow them to have control over us. So yeah, I mean, do you have any other ideas around solutions, Fernando, of what people can do, what action steps can be taken? Because I know that I get that question all day long. It's like, we talk about this stuff all the time, but what can I do today to make a difference in what's happening right now with this, and supporting freedom and protecting myself?
Well, I think absolutely everything you just said would be the way to do it. Educate yourself. Once you understand how things work, share this message with other people, and make sure other people share it with more people, and start buying cryptocurrencies. Start embracing, forget about the term cryptocurrency, start embracing blockchain technology. Because what we're all here trying to do is embrace a new technology called blockchain, which is actually distributed ledger technology, which makes it the purpose of the distributed ledger technology is to eradicate corruption. This new technology makes it impossible for people to steal from you or be shady or all that, because everything is registered in the ledger, and the ledger is immutable and transparent.
Yep.
What does maybe some people are intimidated by these words. So immutable means that it cannot be altered. You cannot go like with a centralized system and, oh, I'm going to change this information to my benefit. No, immutable means that this is impossible. Why is it impossible? Because in order for you to change the information, you need to hack all the computers in the world running a node within 10 minutes, and nobody can do that. It's impossible. So this technology makes it impossible for corruption, and at the same time, it is completely transparent, meaning that you can access the ledger from anywhere in the world. I mean, you can even be on the moon. Maybe in the future when we colonize Mars or whatever, and if there's internet in the moon or in Mars or whatever, you can use your phone or your Nintendo Switch or your laptop or whatever, and you can look up the ledger and see what's happening in real time. So
Yep.
This technology is here to save the planet. You just need to embrace it. And to all of our leaders, we have to tell them, hey, we don't care what you think. Let's make this happen. We don't want to trust you. We want a technology that does the trusting for us. So that's what we got to do. And it's happening. It's going to happen because we all want change. We all want to be happy. And hopefully soon enough, we'll start to see these changes in the whole world.
Absolutely. 100%.
Great. And I don't know, I think we've been here for an hour. I wanted to share some information about some cryptocurrencies that I see potential in. I don't know if you want me to go through them real quick, or if we leave them for next podcast.
Yeah, let's leave it for next podcast. I think it could be a great topic for next time. Love to hear your thoughts on where the industry is going. And I just think I have like one more final comment on this topic that we've been discussing has just been really a big focus in the last couple of months, which is, banks and the traditional financial institution. And I saw a tweet the other day from Charles Hoskins, who is the founder of Cardano. He was also a co-founder of Ethereum and a few other pretty well-known cryptocurrencies. He's a pretty smart dude, and his tweet was, "Crypto needs to de-risk itself from those unstable and volatile banks." And I thought that this was really a powerful statement. I really think that we need to, as an industry and as a movement, we really need to start focusing on how do we move forward with the new, and how do we decouple ourselves from the old, because it's you can see how significant the old system still has a kind of control and hold over blockchain, specifically cryptocurrency, because of the many ties that a lot of these companies in the space, a lot of these projects in the space have to banks. And we just saw it last week, like you just talked about with USDC, and how that immediately depegged that coin directly after we saw this bank fiasco. And that's one of the reasons why I personally don't like stable coins that are tied to fiat currencies. That's why I'm part of a project that has a stable coin that's tied to gold. But I wanted to get your thoughts on that, and on kind of what do you think about the kind of prospect of de-risking ourselves from banks and cryptocurrency and the industry in general, moving away from being so reliant on the old financial system to operate?
I agree 100% with everything you just said, but from a critical point of view of thinking, I always say that there's things that we can learn from. So yes, I think we should de-risk from the old system, but I also think there are things from the old system that work. So let's not just neglect entirely the old system, and let's pick what things from the old system did work and we could apply to this new system, and which old things did not work. Because at the end of the day, this old system comes from centuries of evolution and adoption. There's definitely things there of value. So my critical thinking perspective on this whole idea of the old system would be to embrace what's working, and everything that did not work, like inflation and banks and all that stuff, just get it out of the way. But definitely, there's things we can use to build a new system, and eventually with time and testing and actual voting that is transparent and immutable of the people, we're gonna create a new system that's gonna be fair, it's gonna be democratic, it's gonna have abundance, and it's just gonna take humanity and the planet to the next stage of evolution. We even have AI technology now. I mean, we already have a live robot telling us how to make businesses, how to improve, how to code. This new AI technology can tell you how to code. So I mean, maybe it's not clear to a lot of people, but we are already in the future. The future started in 2023. AI technology is already alive. We're already going to Mars. We're already exploring the subconscious mind. We're at the future now, and it is time for us to understand that the future is now. It is happening today, and as long as we realize this, and we learn from the past, and we want to improve and everything, we're going to be a better race. Eventually, who knows, maybe they say that back in the day there were more evolved civilizations like Atlantis and Lemuria, and that something happened that we nuked ourselves back to the Stone Age. I don't know. I mean, this is all superstition. Maybe it is true, but maybe in the future we'll get back to that time or get there for the first time. But we just need to get all together. You know, we need to embrace these new technologies, this new way of thinking, this new way of life, and just move forward. And I lost Justin, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stop the podcast, and just gonna go ahead and thank everyone for watching the podcast. And if you like, you know, what we're talking about, if you want to hear about a specific topic, just subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, and we'll see you on our next podcast.